Did you know that browsing online using incognito mode does not actually protect your privacy? That's right. Without adding additional security, you might as well give all of your private data to hackers, advertisers, your ISP, and other prying eyes. That's why I use IPVanish VPN to make it easy to stay truly private and secure on the internet. IPVanish helps safely browse the internet by encrypting 100% of your data. This means that your private details, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be completely shielded from falling into the wrong hands. Even your physical location will be hidden. IPVanish makes you virtually impossible. What? Makes you virtually invisible online. IPVanish is offering an incredible 70% off their yearly plan for our listeners with a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's just like getting 9 months for free. IPVanish is super easy to use. All you do is tap one button and you're instantly protected. You won't even know it's on. Stop sharing with the world everything you stream, everything you search for, everything you buy. Take your privacy back today with a brand rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. So go to IPVanish.com/Jesse and use promotional code JESSE and claim 70% savings. That's IPVanish.com/Jesse. Promo code JESSE. All right, Jesse on Fire. Welcome back to the channel. So we're going to talk about Khamzat Chimaev here because Khamzat Chimaev made some really weird comments yesterday, like really weird. And if I remember, I'll include him in the video. But I'm in a rush. I got a lot of stuff to do, and if I forget, just trust me. He definitely said what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about Daniel Cormier's comments about him because he said that. He said that Khamzat is coming out of the shadows too much. He's basically attacking his character. Now, I'll tell you exactly how I came up with that particular way of framing it, because basically my point is everyone who is a fighter has a public character. Now, that public character might be exactly who you actually are, right? Or it might be Colby Covington, who is a completely different person and then puts a WWE character out in public, right? Like, that's kind of my whole point with Colby. It's really hard to take anything that happens around him seriously, given that he's completely faking his entire shtick and everybody knows it. He doesn't even hide it. My family calls me on the phone and complains about the things I say. It's like, dude. Anyway, but DC is saying that Khamzat's character that he was portraying as a fighter is better being in the shadows, coming out, whipping ass, saying he's gonna kill everybody, and then not showing anything else. I'm going to talk about that, and then I'm going to talk about this Gilbert Burns and Khamzat Chimaev fight, because here's what I've learned, okay? So if you are an aspiring content creator or a current content creator and you want to improve your success on the platform, let me tell you the number one thing that I learned that helped me all of a sudden start having success on the platform is this. You can make the most vicious content ever, and if no one clicks on it, irrelevant, dude. You could have the best stuff in the world, and if you have a shitty thumbnail and you have bad titles, no one's ever gonna know, dude. Okay? The idea that, like, if you make it amazing, people will just find it. That's not how it works. So, the way I do this, I don't do videos if people don't click on them, okay? Like, that's why I wasn't hosting any fighters or anything. It wasn't like I couldn't get access to fighters. It's just every time I would host a fighter, no one would click on it. So that's why I don't do fight breakdowns. They get literally like 1/3 the clicks. So but I really want to talk about this fight. So I'm going to plug it at the end of this video, and that's what's up, dude. So anyway, so let's jump into this thing. I'm also going to plug an ad in here somewhere because I have to. Now I have all these advertisers and I have to figure out where to put them. So, they're just going to go in videos randomly, and that's just is what it is. But I will take out one of the YouTube ads when I do that. Anywho, so the Khamzat Chimaev thing. All right, so here's the deal. Okay, so first of all, yesterday, someone sent me this through email. I should look up who it was and give him the credit. I'm actually going to do that, but I'm going to kind of double track while we do this. So this guy, Micah Asher, sent me this clip, and he's like, he's like, Khamzat Chimaev just ruined his career. And I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and just, before I even look at what he sent me, say, no, that's not accurate. He didn't ruin his career. Now, I understand why he said that, because ultimately what Khamzat Chimaev said is he said he's going to retire as soon as he becomes champion. Okay. So, and like, he told me that's what he said. And I was like, why would he say that? He literally said he promised his mom. That's what the guy, Micah, told me. He said that he promised his mom that he would retire when he's champion. And I'm like, what? Like, this has to be made up. Either that, or maybe someone did like a bad translation because it's in Russian. And that might be the case. I have no idea. But I watched the clip and he really did say that, assuming that someone didn't just completely juke the translation, which is not impossible. I don't trust anything unless I can verify. But, like, getting rid of that outlandish theory, he said that his mom told him that she wants him to retire as soon as he's champion. And he told her when he's the real champion, he will retire. And so he said, that's my goal, is to become champion and then I'll retire. Okay. Here's one thing that I can say, and this actually plays directly into the Khabib thing, right? Into what Daniel Cormier said. Okay. So you hear him say that, like, I promised my mom that I'll retire once I'm champion, so that's my goal. And people go, okay, wow, well, he must mean it because Khabib said that and Khabib did it. Okay. Well, Daniel said that Khamzat should be staying behind the scenes. Well, I don't know. I'll talk about that in a second. But one thing you can say for sure is that after watching Khamzat in public, he ain't like Khabib, man. Like, him and Khabib are not the same. You see a lot of videos of Khamzat out, like, with people smoking weed. He wears weed paraphernalia stuff, which is fine. Like, believe me, I am in no position to judge anybody. I have a new sponsor. I have a Kratom sponsor, YoKratom.com, by the way, $60 kilos. I mean, so, like, if you think I'm in a position to be judging people about, wearing marijuana paraphernalia, that's definitely not what I'm doing. I'm just saying, I don't think you're going to see Khabib rolling around in weed paraphernalia, okay? They're not the same. Like, those two guys are not the same. They're not the same at all. They're both from Russia, but they're from completely different regions of Russia. Chechnya and Dagestan, also not the same. Very, very not the same from what I've seen, right? So, yeah. I don't think there's even a moderate chance that he retires as soon as he's champion. I don't really know why he's saying it, but he did say it. It's kind of bizarre. But, the other thing too is, like, I understand why Micah thought that, he just ruined his career, because I just was talking about how Derek Brunson had said, I just want to do this and then retire. And I said, why would he have done that? That's such a bad decision. Why would you have put that out in public? Remember, I did that video and then I said I couldn't believe that he was Ali Abdelaziz's fighter. And then I was like, I guarantee you that Brunson just went off the cuff and he did not discuss that with Ali, because Ali would have told him, do not say that. Ali completely understands how to promote fighters, obviously. He's one of the most, if not the most successful manager in the business. So, like, obviously he would know, hey, dude, you're like in your mid to late 30s. You can't just say you're going to fight 2 more times and expect them to give you a title shot. Why would they give you a title shot? Why would they want you to win the title and then retire, dude? They're not going to give you a title shot now. Dummy. Come on. Like, if you're going to do that, you got to keep that under wraps, dude. You can't tell anybody. But Khamzat is young. Like, he's not, it's a completely different thing if you're 36 years old or whatever. I didn't look it up. But, like, if you're in your mid 30s and you say, I'm going to just win the title and retire, people are like, oh, okay, he means it. Khamzat's like a child, dude. Not like a child in a bad way. I just mean he's super young, dude. Dude, the guy couldn't stop training when he had the virus. He had the virus. He's on prednisone, coughing up blood, and he's still going to Monday training at Extreme Couture. Like, so let me just, I don't know if I think I told this on the channel, but I'm just, because it's such a great indication of, like, who Khamzat is. So when he did the thing where he said he was retiring when he had the virus, remember that? And everybody's like, oh my God, he's retiring. And he showed a picture of, like, blood in the sink where he had been coughing up blood. Okay. So what that was the reason he couldn't recover is because he kept on training. Like, he wouldn't stop training even when he was super sick. And so the virus, it's a lung virus. So, like, if you're pumping your lungs, it's going to keep, like, going deeper and deeper into your lungs, and it's just going to wreck you. And he just wouldn't stop training no matter what. He comes to the United States doctor, like Dana and them are like, come to the US, we'll get you some good health care. The doctor puts him on prednisone. If you don't know what prednisone is, it's an incredibly strong steroid, and you're given very specific instructions, which for sure include no hard exercise. And nonetheless, on prednisone, he went to a Monday training at Extreme Couture that Eric Nixick runs. And Eric, he didn't get into specifics, but Eric told me that, like, the Monday training is specifically made to break people. It's the hardest thing that they do. Monday training is for savages. It's like, these are the hardest dudes on earth. Like, first of all, look at who's over there. Look at how good a shape those guys are in. And then imagine, and look at Eric too, who for sure gets just deep entertainment out of just smashing guys with exercise, And that's what that Monday training is. And Khamzat went and did it anyway on prednisone. And so he just, went through it and then got home and he's coughing up blood. Doctors all, dude, guy, going through the hardest training that professional fighters go through when you're on prednisone is literally the exact opposite of what I told you to do. So the idea that he's going to just, like, he's going to win championship and then he's just going to hang it up is nonsense, dude. you know? Like for Khabib, like his entire career was so, like I just watched, by the way, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot to bring this up. I just watched Patrick Gavia's Khabib documentary. I fucking cried. I'm serious. I fucking cried watching it. It was that good, dude. It's so good. It's so good. And like, you know, man, I should do another video about it actually. But nonetheless, it was incredible. And you just see, you know, like the reason I love Mixed Molly stuff so much is because you get this incredible inside look into who these guys are and like their real life. Like, what are they fighting for? What's underneath the, you know, like there's always a person going in there who's a savage who wants to go in and fight and they want to win, but what's underneath it? Why? You know, like why? Why are they the way that they are? And with Khabib, it was so deeply entrenched, you know, and entangled with like his father and his father's approval and respect for his father and all that, like that you completely understand why he fought one more time and he hung it up and then he took over the mantle for his father, became, you know, went directly into the role that his father was in. Very simple to understand. And I actually retract saying that he's going to come back most likely, although he is fighting in ADCC. So who knows? But Khamzat, like, there's not like there's no indicator like that, like where, like why would he retire when he's in? He's not going to retire, dude. Like that's just, he's just not going to retire, man. Anyway, this is going to stretch out into a super long video if I haven't even gotten to the next part yet. So with Daniel Cormier, what he said is that Khamzat's showing himself too much to the public, right? That he would be better off, and he's talking about from a promotional standpoint, right? And he's saying from a promotional standpoint, he would be better off staying in the shadows, right? And not being so public, like the stuff with Darren Till, Smash Bros, all that stuff. So I thought about that and I was like, man, like I can see what he's saying. Like I can totally see what he's saying because, you know, all it is just like DC, I mean, totally understands this game top to bottom, you know, in terms of promotions and how to position yourself and all that stuff and like how to brand yourself. So if he says something generally, you know, like I'll even if I think I disagree initially, like I'll think about it and look at it. Because initially I was kind of like, I think Khamzat's fighting is going to speak for itself and it doesn't even really matter because he's going to have such a huge amount of support from that side of the world. And he's interesting, he's exciting. I don't think it really matters. But basically I thought about it and I'm like, I can see it both ways actually. Like not that like I do agree with him that showing himself like out with Darren Till, all that is actually not going to help him. Like it's not going to help him. Okay. I just don't think it's going to hurt him either. You know, like the mysterious, the wolf from Chechnya, you know, all these rumors all throughout the fight. I mean, I saw a thing on Instagram from 2017 where Brian Stan was saying that or 2018, the next up and coming guy, the most vicious guy that's not in the UFC is this guy, this welterweight in Sweden who's at, you know, Swedish All-Stars. That's like, dude, 2018, they were already talking about how incredible this dude was. And I mean, which just means, and Anthony said this to me too. He's like, a guy with a rep like that who walks around like that must be smashing people in the gym, dude. I mean, just think about that, dude. Like if you're fighting against guys that are 2 weight classes up from you who are like top contenders and you're whipping their ass in the gym, like they're not going to let you whip their ass. If you're beating them, they're going to elevate. I mean, that's how you go. That's how you do in training, dude. Like, you know, on some days you kind of like have like a mutual agreement with a guy where you're like, okay, like let's just take it easy. But generally that's with someone who you kind of already know their skill level, you know, and you're not just going to let them win. You know, if they start beating you, you elevate your energy level to not lose. You know what I mean? And so like if Khamzat is smashing you and he's 2 weight classes below you, even if he's going you're going to elevate to at least even things out. Even if and I doubt that those guys ever do that anyway. So if he's smashing these guys, he's really smashing these guys, you know, like he's smashing them in the gym. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, but like, you know, so like just playing that persona up, it's like the rumors are that this guy, kind of like how Cain Velasquez was, very similar to how Cain Velasquez was. Stay in the shadows, come out, smash people into the ground, keep the personal life off it. I totally understand that. I think that would work really well for him. But also, I think if I'm right about where this guy is going, that it's not going to matter, man. It's really not. He can almost be like this kind of hybrid. He's almost like a Conor Khabib hybrid, which is nuts to even think about because like those two guys are on opposite ends of the universe from each other, you know? Like who could be more different than Conor and Khabib? Speaking of incredible documentaries on mixed martial arts, anyone watching this, especially actual fighters or coaches, if you guys have never seen Mixed Molly Wapari's series on Conor and Khabib, I mean, and Patrick Avia's Khabib one that just came out, but I'm serious, you like go back to Mixed Molly Wapari's, the one, it's Fire and Ice and then Culture Clash. Go to Mixed Molly Wapari's channel, watch Fire and Ice and then Culture Clash. Like I don't have words to describe. They're masterpieces. I've watched them 35 times. That's why I was so certain that Dana was going to try to set up the next Khabib and Conor fight, even though it was obvious from a money standpoint. It was like, there's so much substance there, dude. Like they are, when you really get to see Conor through the eyes, like he gives so much. As a matter of fact, you actually have to go back and you need to watch Khabib Rise of a Savage first. And he gives so much background on the region in Dagestan. I'm talking not like, believe me, there are no MMA documentaries that cover it like this. So Rise of a Savage, then Fire and Ice, then Culture Clash. And if you want to throw in a topper, you can watch Humbled, Why Conor Needed This Loss. Dude, there is no better content ever made about UFC, period. Patrick Avia's, though, that just came out is very, very excellent. Like, just exceptional. But anyway, yeah, the point is like, he's kind of a hybrid. Like he's kind of like, you know, if you smash them together like a face smash, take two complete opposites, you kind of, maybe you get Khamzat, you know? He's brash, he's loud. He likes nice things. He likes shopping for shoes and shit. Although, you know, but he's also, you know, Russian, Chechen, not so much Dagestani. But anyway, whatever. So I don't think it's going to matter that much. But now talking about this fight, okay? So following up what I just said, which is if I'm right about where he's going, and then say, you know, implying that I think he's going all the way, which is highly, highly possible. I am going to say this though. This Burns fight, this is, if people think this is a walkthrough for Khamzat, they're out of their mind. Like I genuinely believe that. Like if you actually think through, I mean, handicapping fights is not that challenging, right? Like it's really not. Now, I'm not saying that it's easy to predict who's going to win all the time, but your checklist of how you think it through is really easy. I mean, it just is really easy. Like you don't need to like get surgically into the X's and O's to have a pretty fair concept of who is more likely to win, because you just go through strengths and weaknesses. Because it's like a thing like this. Like you always know the fight's going to start in the first round, right? It's going to start in the first round where they're both fresh. How does this guy perform in the first round? How does this guy perform in the first round? Is this guy a slow starter and this guy's a killer? Cowboy versus Conor. Okay. Does this guy have knockout power? Does this guy get knocked out in the first round? Okay. You know, like things like that. And then you start talking, you know, how's the stand-up game versus stand-up defense? How's the ground game versus ground? You know, how's their wind? Like how likely are they to be able to go 5 rounds? All that stuff. And when you look at Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat, I, honest to God, think Gilbert is the worst matchup for Khamzat out of anybody at welterweight or middleweight. Seriously, if you really think about it. Now, and the problem here is that you have almost no data on Khamzat's stand-up, right? Except he has knockout power. You know that for sure. He can knock anyone out. That shot he put on Mershard, if anybody thinks that didn't demonstrate that he can put anyone to sleep on the wrong end of a good shot that he lands, then you're out of your mind. No one's eating that shot. And that was the first shot he threw. If he's got one punch knockout power, he is absolutely a knockout threat, obviously. But you don't really have much more data than that. We've never even seen him defend a kick. Like we've never seen does he check leg kicks, you know? Like people would be fucking nuts to throw leg kicks at him because obviously he'd catch it and take him down. But nonetheless, like there are all kinds of things that you just don't have any idea what he's going to do against him. Now, Gilbert, you know, the most blaring kind of matchup thing to consider is like no one takes Gilbert down. No one takes Gilbert down because Gilbert is a world champion in jiu-jitsu. And so he's insanely dangerous there. The thing is, he's super dangerous on his feet also. He has knockout power. He can knock anyone out, you know? The closest that Kamaru came to getting knocked out in his entire career was against Gilbert, you know? It's just Kamaru's a rock. And I also heard that Kamaru is training with Gilbert for this fight, which is, obviously they were training partners before. But But yeah, man, like it's just, there's too many unknowns. Like there's no way to confidently pick this fight. I don't care who you are. There is, like, it doesn't matter. A person who has a surgical record of picking every single fight right, if they say they know definitively who's going to win this fight, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I don't agree because there's not enough data to feel really confident. Now, I told you guys in another video, Steve Hargett, I've talked about him enough. You guys know who he is. Jiu-Jitsu world champion. He said that on the ground, Khamzat has a tremendous advantage over Gilbert just because of, positioning and, Gilbert likes to fight from the top. If he ends up on his back against a guy like Khamzat, Khamzat's going to beat him with positions. He's like, you can punch people in the face in mixed martial arts. Changes the game completely, obviously. But he likes Khamzat because of that. But he openly said, he's like, I don't have any idea what his stand-up looks like. He said Gilbert could beat him on the ground, but only if Gilbert stings him first on the feet. If he hurts him on the feet and then it goes to the ground, then Gilbert could do something on the ground. But unless he hurts him, because Gilbert's not gonna be able to take Khamzat down, like just in a straight up he's gonna shoot on him. Come on, that's not going to happen. I can say pretty confidently that's not gonna happen. But anyway, I mean, so I would say you lean towards Khamzat just because he has an advantage on the ground. But again, dude, Gilbert Burns, he's vicious on his feet. Here's the other thing. If he does run through Gilbert, by the way, we're going to be in the front row for that fight, son. The front row for that fight. I've had so much going on that I haven't even been able to get excited. It's literally like in a few days. And I can't even explain to you guys how busy I am. But like I hadn't even gotten excited. Today I was packing because I go to Miami tomorrow. I'm in Miami Wednesday, Thursday. Probably going to hang out with Markel, Kevin Lee, Francis, and Khalil Roundtree while we're down there too. I got to figure out this timing stuff. Anyway, it's a long story. But yeah, and then we go to the fights, or we go to Rogan on Friday, and then we go to the fights on Saturday. I don't think this thing that we're doing, like these live events, I don't think I'm going to be able to duplicate how sick this one's going to be like ever again. Just because we got so lucky with the tickets that we got, and then Rogan happened to be playing at the same place the night before. Because now we do like an event the night before, and then we do the fights. And the night before, we're going to see Rogan live, like the whole crew, everybody that's going. And then the next day, we're going to the fights, and we have front row seats exactly where the fighters come out, like in the the alley where they come out. And Gilbert Burns and Khamzat are fighting. There's 2 title fights plus that fight. It's going to be bananas, dude. Only problem is it's on the East Coast, so it's like West Coast fights are better because they get done and then the night's not over. It's not 2 a.m. Anyway, I have talked long enough. Love you guys. Peace.